everyone, thank you so much for joining me. So today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about why I decided to have a home birth, why that's something that I chose personally for myself. To kind of hear how that went on its own, I have my home birth story, which I will link in the description box below. I already shared that with everybody before, so I just kind of wanted to talk about why it is that I chose to have a home birth. So as I've shared before, I grew up seeing my mom have home births with all 5 of my siblings. I was the only one who was born in a hospital, and then the rest of them were all born at home. And actually, believe it or not, even though I saw her go through having the babies at home, I always grew up thinking that I would never have my first child at home. I never really felt like I wanted to have a home birth, at least with my first child. I felt like I would feel safer in a hospital and things like that. But it wasn't until I found out that I was actually expecting that something clicked in my mind, and I was just like, you know what? I want to have a home birth. I want to do everything I can and pray that I will be able to actually go through with having a home birth. So I, did my part, and I prayed, and I asked God to make it easy for me to be able to have a home birth and have everything peaceful that way. And so it was just kind of something intuitively that I felt like was right for us at that time. And I'm really thankful that I made that decision. But something else that helped me make that decision, or kind of reassure me that that was the correct decision to make, was some documentaries that I watched while I was pregnant. There are 2 documentaries that I watched. One is called The Business of Being Born, and the second one is actually The Business of Being Born, but it's like a part 2. And so I watched that, and that basically explained the different procedures, the different routine type things that hospitals do and that doctors and nurses have to follow according to the hospital and according to insurance and different things like that. And so it also kind of talked about why it's okay to have a home birth and how it's kind of just normal. Women's bodies are created to be able to have babies, and so why not be able to have a baby at home? And so watching that really opened my eyes. It especially was difficult for me to see that women, when they go to the hospital, they're admitted into the hospital to go through labor and give birth. Unfortunately, the hospital has to treat anybody as a patient or as a customer, kind of. They need to be able to process everybody as quick as they possibly can. So whoever comes into the hospital, they want to be able to make sure that they're given what they need and gotten out, so that they have an extra bed or an extra room available for somebody else who needs help. So that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's also kind of sad because the doctors and nurses kind of have to follow routine, and they kind of have to try to get you through this process as quickly as they possibly can, so that you can be out of the hospital as soon as you can. And so that might sound okay, but at the same time, these are our bodies that we're talking about. These are our bodies that need to be able to take their time and go through this process. And it's also our emotions too. This is such a huge thing that our bodies are going through, that our minds need time to catch up. Emotionally, we need time to be able to just feel like we can relax and feel like we can do what we need to, and we feel comfortable to move around, comfortable to do whatever we need to do during this time of labor and birth. So those were definitely some major factors in me making the decision to want to have a home birth. Also, again, just the thought of being in my own house, having that relaxing feel, having been able to set everything up the way I wanted it to be. I was able to, make sure that I had bed sheets that I liked, make sure that I had pajamas that I wanted. Everything just felt really relaxed because it was in my own zone. It was where I felt most comfortable, and it was where I was able to create that comfortable feeling for myself. And so that was definitely something that I looked forward to. I also looked forward to being able to have the freedom of doing whatever I needed to. I know that some hospitals are very friendly, and they're very considerate with making sure that the woman's needs are met, or that she's able to go do whatever she wants. She could be in the bathtub, she could be wherever she wanted to be, but other hospitals make it a little bit more difficult. And so I felt like it was going to be most comfortable for me to be able to just kind of relax and do whatever I wanted to do, be wherever I wanted to be in my own comfort zone. And I really think that that was helpful for me in the long run. I didn't have to worry about people who I didn't know coming into the room. I didn't have to worry about anything like that. It was really intimate also because it was my husband and my parents and my midwife, and it was just really nice and peaceful that way. And so I definitely appreciate having been able to have the opportunity to have a home birth, and I'm very grateful, and I feel like a lot of other people might enjoy it as long as they feel confident in the fact that they are able to do that also. It's important for us to make sure that we are educating ourselves on our, our rights, our freedom to do what we need to, especially during that time of giving birth. It's such a sacred time, and it's such a special moment that you're going through. And so it's really important to know that we have the right to choose what we want to do. We have the right to say whether or not we want to eat something during birth. We have the right to choose, the positions that we want to be in and everything like that. This is a special time, and it's important for us to take advantage of that and allow for it to, take it into our own hands and allow for it to empower us and give us the births that we hope for. So yeah, I hope that this video kind of gave you a little bit of insight as to why I chose to have a home birth. A lot of people might feel like, oh, she had a home birth because her mom had home births, but really it was something within me that felt like I needed that, and that's what I wanted to have. If that's something that you are feeling as well, I highly suggest that you look into it a little bit more. Don't feel bad if people are going crazy and saying like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Don't let that drive you crazy. Don't let that make you feel insecure about your decision. Just remember that your body is created and it is made to go through this beautiful process, and try to allow for yourself to enjoy it as much as possible. I hope that you take good care. Hopefully you'll see me again soon. Bye-bye.